Good day people and welcome to my new series. It's Redstone 101 and it's in the title. I'm going to be teaching you by episode how to do different things with redstone. Today it's the introductory episode. I'm going to go through all the different things involved in redstone first. All the different stuff that gives out signals, takes signals, everything, the basics pretty much. Right, so in front of me you can see green and orange. All if you see green, that means you can pretty much do what I'm showing you without any experience in redstone, and the orange means I wouldn't approach this unless you've got a bit more of an understanding. I'll kind of show you why. You kind of understand pretty much. Anyway, to the left I've set out some different samples. So we've got three things in redstone. We've got what's called sources, variable sources, and receivers. That sounds really technical, but it's not. It's simple as sources give out redstone signal. We've got variable sources which give out a certain strength of redstone signal depending on what's happening, and as you can see over there we've got receivers which react to redstone signal. So let's go with sources first, and we've got the usual lever. This will always give out redstone when it's on and not when it's off. Same with buttons. These also trigger. The wooden button will trigger if you fire an arrow at it. So if we get a bow, we can fire an arrow and it will trigger it. We've also got the stone one which will trigger, but it can't be triggered by a bow. We've got the stone pressure plate and wooden, which both trigger when a person or a mob goes on it, so I can trigger both. However, the wooden one will trigger when you throw an item on it. The stone one won't trigger when you throw an item on it. Then we've got the tripwire. This happens to give out a solid signal when you walk on it. Same for when you throw an item on it. It's just less visible than the wooden pressure plate. Then we've got the detector minecart rail, which detects when a minecart's on it. So as you can see, minecart's on it, it gives out signal. When there isn't, it doesn't. And then we've got the usual redstone torch and the redstone block. These both give out signal all the time and they cannot be toggled at all. I tell a lie, the torch can. That can't be toggled at all, but the torch can, but it's a bit more confusing. So let's go on to variables. These ones give out a strength depending on certain situations. So for this one, we've got a trap chest. A trap chest actually gives out two sets of signals. When it's open, it gives out redstone signal. So if I nick a lamp from here, open the chest, you'll notice the lamp has turned on, and it turns off when you close it. However, the chest also gives out redstone signal depending on how full it is. So if you were to fill the redstone chest completely, it will give out a stronger signal. Of course, it's not got much actually in it, but it will still trigger it. Then we've got more pressure plates. These ones are quite confusing. We've got a lightweight pressure plate and a heavy pressure plate. This one's the weighted one and this one's the light one. So these trigger depending on how much is put on them. So it will always give a signal when something's on it, just like the other pressure plates do. However, they will only trigger when it meets certain criteria. So we've also got like an item won't trigger. No, not items. Light items. Let me remember. Certain things won't trigger the heavy one. I can't remember which. But back to what I was trying to explain, is these will give out certain strengths depending on how much is put on them. So I think for the heavy one you have to put quite a lot on for it to go to the next signal strength. For some reason it's not triggering that much. However, with this one as you can see, the more I put on it, the stronger the signal gets. This is 3 redstone in strength, and just one item causes 1. So 1, 2. So 2 items. Oh, maybe not. 1, 2. Ooh. Okay, that's weird. But regardless, these have orange on them for the simple reason they're quite confusing, and evidently even I don't know how they work, so you can't blame me. And then this is the last item I can think of, which most people use anyway, is the light sensor. This is all dependent on the time of day, so depending how bright it is how much signal this gives out. See, I don't tend to use this, but it does give out a solid signal. All of these have to have a comparator hooked up to them to detect how much is being given out. However, if you use a way of getting the signal via normally a repeater, this will always give out one solid signal when it's activated. So this will give out a solid signal when it's daylight. These will give out solid signals when open, and as I demonstrated with the trap chest, this also triggered the lamp when it's open. Now we've got the receivers. These receive signals, and when you receive signals, they do something. So add signal to a sticky piston or a normal piston, and they'll they'll expand, whatever you want to call it, and then they contract when you remove it. Then we've got the usual redstone lamp that goes off and on. When you give it power, it turns on. We've got doors, fence gates, and the usual trapdoors. These open and close when you give them power. Then we've got the activator and powered rail car. Now they do take a signal to activate them, and they do different things. So we've got powered, speeds up minecarts. Actually, that's activated. That's powered. Powered speeds up minecarts, and activated triggers stuff such as TNT. And then we've got repeater. Repeaters are quite quirky all on their own, as in you give them power and they extend it. So if you were to go over here and take some redstone, as you can see, it gets weaker. But if you just catch it, if you can just see that's still giving particles, that's enough to power this repeater, which then repowers it. So we've also got redstone itself, which is what you can use to wire everything up. So last time I checked, I doubt it's changed. If you power redstone, it will power for 14 blocks. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, it's 15. But it's 15 blocks, and then it's got no power here. So if I was to put a redstone lamp at the end of that, oops, you'll notice at the end there's no power. But if I put it here, it's only just got enough power. So ideally, if you ran it this far, you could extend it with a repeater. That's just long enough, and boom, got an extra 15 blocks out of it. Right, now onto the items I will be using a lot in these tutorials. These items pretty much are all you need for most contraptions. So I'll just clear my inventory. So I'm going to be using sandstone a lot. Any block will do, of course, but I'm using sandstone for the simple reason it's a bright colour, really. You can see it contrasts against the redstone pretty well, and it's easy to see. Redstone itself, not to mention the repeaters, and I tend to activate stuff with levers or buttons. Buttons are normally my favourite choice because I like to use them to toggle stuff instead of using a lever, because a lever is simple. You can toggle with a lever and that's always on when it's on. However, buttons, they're momentary, so we'll go on for a few seconds and it turns off, but you can use this to your advantage to use just a nice button, and you can do quite a lot with a button and some redstone. I'll demonstrate that in hopefully the next video. And then we've got the usual pistons. I love to use pistons for most things, they're just great. And then you've got redstone torches. Right, so let's jump on to how redstone torches can be toggled, as these are quite interesting and confusing, but they're pretty easy. So let's get some stuff set up. So we've got the torch here, and we can see that's giving out a signal. But if I power this block, pretty much powering this redstone torch, it turns off. Now, this is fun because you can use this to your advantage. Due to redstone torches powering the blocks above, so if I were to put that there, see, this one's powering what's above, powering this. You can put another torch here, and as you can see, it's turned it off. It's off. So you can do that, and then if you just repeat this, you can pretty much create a redstone ladder. So if I remove this one, this top one goes off. There is a delay, but it's good for getting redstone up instead of having to do a very annoying ladder, like something like this, where most people do this and go up like that, when really you can do it in one block in height and you can go up pretty high. And it's infinite, there's no loss of signal. Unlike redstone, as demonstrated there, there's 15 blocks, and after 15 blocks it will just be dead pretty much. So that's about all there is to really talk about. And if you've just watched this video, I think my biggest bit of advice for you now is to go in and mess around. So anything that gives that as a source can give to a redstone torch, so you could mess around with levers. It's a bit weird how it works, so I think I'll actually explain that, as I've not properly explained that, is how redstone gives out its signal. So let's demonstrate this with some wool. So I'm going to use red as the source, and then we've got the orange has what receives the signal, and then we've got I can't type, green as the indication that's got no signal. So let's pretend this red wool block, which I'm going to put up here, is a redstone block, like over there, or a torch. If you have it here, so say that's on top of some sandstone, this is a torch or a block on sandstone, this will power the following blocks. The blocks to all sides here, as well as above. But it doesn't always power below, but it can do. It depends what it is. So pretty much everything you see here is powered. However, it will not power. I actually did that wrong. It's supposed to be orange. So everything orange is powered. However, everything in green isn't powered, so you can't power diagonally. Diagonally.
Welcome, Harry, to Diagon Alley.
What? But you can circumvent that in your own way. So as you can see, that won't power to this block. That block is powered, but it still won't. So I can actually demonstrate that. So let's get a redstone block, oops, and a lamp. So as I said, the block next to it would be powered, which is that block. However, this block here isn't. As you can see, this one's powered, that one's not. It's too far away. It's not an adjacent block to that. Bearing in mind, this is not giving power. However, it's receiving. So for this to be powered here, this one would have to give power as well. However, there's some weird stuff going on. I'm not going to go too far into depth, but I believe it's pretty much only with the lamps. If I were to power that, it powers that as described, but it can also do that. That's cool too, but really that's not really a weird quirk as such. As you can see, it's only powering above and to the sides, but not diagonal to the source. Bearing in mind, the source in this case is this lamp. The lever is only making it a source. It's quite weird. Oh, then again, it's weird too. Okay, it's weird. This is a source as well as that, but you don't really need to bother too much. You'll just find it's quite difficult when you do stuff with a lot of lamps. Anyway, I think that's about it. It's been a quick video, well, 15-minute. I hope you've learnt something from it, otherwise I'm sorry, but you know. Thank you for watching. In the next episode, I'm going to show you how to do simple piston doors and how you can power pistons and such in weird ways. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching and goodbye.